You should appreciate two things, very important. Any country's economy, when you take into consideration, so the GDP, you have to see which sector is performing which way. If I'm a little more adventurous, adventure tourism, it may be aero sports, water sports, winter sports, okay. If any institution has to grow, and we were talking about what you should be known for, become the leader, offer different kind of a management education.
Hello and welcome back to the latest episodes of GIBS IRE Talks podcast, powered by GIBS Business School, where innovation meets inspiration. So they say that service industry is now largely tech-driven. And when we say service industry, how can we miss talking about the tourism industry or the tourism sector in India? So when we are talking about tourism, it is important that we hear it from the right person. So let's welcome our guest for today, Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma, who's the Director General, Chamber of Service Industry in India. So please join me in welcoming Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma for today. Hello, Dr. Gulshan Sharma. Thank you so much.
Palviji, you have done a wonderful job yesterday and today. It was remarkable, and I must compliment you and GIBS for a wonderful program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So welcome to the GIBS IRE Talks podcast. So in today's session, I would be asking a few questions that I and our audience have in our mind. So to begin with, since you come from an army background, sir, you've served the Indian Army for quite some time. So I would want you to let us know some of your experiences with the Indian Army. And also they say that the best management lessons are learned in the Indian Army. So if you could just share some of your insights and throw some light into that, we would want to know that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, first of all, giving me this opportunity to interact with you, and while complimenting you once again for the wonderful interaction show which you had put up for the last 2 days, and your remarkable speaker, anchor, moderator, and conductor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Coming to the armed forces, let me share with you, ours is a huge country and a huge population, and I wish, if we really want to build our nation the best possible way, and if we can afford, if 6 to 8 months or maybe 1 year, if you can put every youth through that training, I think the national character would be altogether different. However, if it is not possible for everybody, people those want to get into government jobs, at least they should be put through that process so that they know what exactly is the kind of efforts being put in. And I think they'll perform much better if they have been put through that particular process. You also made a mention that most of the management and leadership qualities and everything. Yes, I totally agree with you. Initially, when you talk about tactics, strategy, leadership, management, guerrilla marketing, warfare, all these things have come out of the armed forces into the management. So management and armed forces is not inseparable. They are like a hand and glove together.
Yeah, agree with that. So also you've been serving with the Chamber of Service Industry and you've been with the tourism industry. So could you share with us some of your experiences with the tourism sector and also some challenges which are associated, because now that in India we see tourism booming at large.
Okay.
So could you also share with us some of your experiences and challenges with the sector?
Sure. First of all, let's take it that initially in India, when you talk about, it used to be pilgrimage tourism. It used to be spiritual tourism. People used to travel to Char Dham, and that is the way our forefathers, grandparents, and everybody took journey that way. Now, coming with my personal, how I got into, once I came to Ministry of Tourism, I had an opportunity to set up 5 national institutes of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. That's called IITTM, Indian Institute of Travel and Tourism Management. Before that, ministry never had its own institution. And like we have got IHM's Institute of Hotel Management. For the uniform, for the army to repay back, because they allowed me to come on deputation, we conceived the idea in Bangalore itself, the city where we are sitting. We conceived the idea, and initially in the 4 rooms, I started hotel management for armed forces in Bangalore in ASC Center. Today, I learned with pleasure that there is a full-fledged Institute of Hotel Management and Culinary Institute in Bangalore for the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force students, children, getting into that particular education. Now, coming to the tourism industry per se, you should appreciate two things, very important. Any country's economy, when you take into consideration, so the GDP, you have to see which sector is performing which way. Now, there are three parts of the economy: agriculture sector, manufacturing sector, and tertiary sector.
Yeah.
When you talk about tertiary sector, that's the services sector. In services sector, if you talk about tourism per se, tourism cuts across almost all economy sectors. The person, whether, let's take it transportation part, air transport, road transport, rail transport, sea transport, you require transportation to travel. Okay, fine. You have traveled from place A to place B. You would require some place to stay. You may have a hotel, motel, resort, wayside amenity, farmhouse, guest house, anything of that kind you will have. So that is again a part of tourism.
Agree.
So first is you're traveling, that means accessibility. Second thing is you have come to a place to stay, so that is your amenity which you have created over there. And the third part is when you have reached at a particular place, you would like to enjoy that particular place. That's called attraction.
Okay.
Now, tourism, it is very difficult for me to explain and put it into words because tourism is something experience. Tourism is, now let's take, we started with pilgrimage tourism, cultural tourism, heritage tourism. From there, let's move little further, village tourism, farm tourism, agri-tourism, organic tourism, and at the same time, if I'm little more adventurous, adventure tourism, it may be aero sports, water sports, winter sports. Okay, let's move little further. You've got a cuisine tourism, you have got fairs and festival tourism, you love nature, there's a wildlife tourism, flora and fauna tourism, eco-tourism, green tourism, nature tourism, rainforest tourism, any term you can use it over there. Let's come a little further. In our cultural part, we get married, so there is a wedding tourism. Another area, if you're into business, some kind of a work you have got and all that, earlier we used to call events planning, events marketing, events management. Now you call it a MICE tourism. And that means meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibition. It's booming and is coming like anything. People are traveling either for holiday or for pleasure or for leisure or for business or for meeting or for anything of that kind. This all is a part of tourism. Tourism has got economic impact. Tourism has got cultural impact. Tourism has got social impact. Tourism has got economic multiplier. There's so much happening into. And I personally feel this morning when we all were deliberating, I very strongly recommend, very strongly recommend, if any institution has to grow, and we were talking about what you should be known for. Somebody was talking about particular segment, particular area. Let me take an example. If this institution, if this GIBS wants to be known for, let's take it, niche for tourism and MICE tourism. Because with tourism, you should take MICE tourism. At the same time, all travel agents, tour operator, tourist transporter, tour excursionist, inbound tourism, outbound tourism, excursion tourism, domestic tourism, bring all the stakeholders together. When you have got hoteliers, there is an association called FHRAI, Federation of Hotels and Restaurants Association of India. Then the 5-star hotels and above, they have got HAI, Hotel Association of India. So all hotels, restaurants, resorts and staying places, lodging places, boarding places, they should be also brought on to. Can you imagine what kind of a scenario we can create within the campus itself? There could be a MICE corner, there could be a travel agency within the hotel itself, within the institute itself. At the same time, you can have a tour operation business from the hotel itself. You can have, let's take it, a small restaurant being run by students and everything being taken care of by students. So food part and all that, like canteens and other things which you develop in institutions, students would be very happy. They will earn and learn. This philosophy is very popular world over. Earn and learn. Both the things can go hand in hand. Okay, another area of tourism. 2017, if I correctly remember, Bangalore had hosted medical tourism, wellness tourism. That is coming up in a very big way because people from abroad are coming to India for medical treatment. And when they come to this particular country, why do they come over here? Because first of all, there is no waiting list. Number two, it is more economical to get medically treated in India than getting treated anywhere else. Third part, you get personal attention and doctors devote more time for you and everything. Number four, the people, those are accompanying patient and coming over here, they per se will stay in country. When they stay, they cannot be in ICU ward or they cannot be in operation theatre whole day. They got to be staying somewhere, they got to be traveling somewhere, they got to be shopping somewhere, they got to be doing other activities. All that part is there. So medical tourism coming up in a very big way. Okay. We say with time, with technology and with gadgets, attention span of students have reduced. Why not? You should think about entertainment tourism. Why not? Education should be joyful, laughter, happiness, dance, music, fun, gamification, all that part when you want to get into. There is another variety of tourism which is called film-induced tourism, film tourism, or for that matter, even cinematic tourism. Students would be very happy. I'm pretty sure that in this college, students, those are coming for their master's program, for their management program. They may be, some of them would be good dancers, some of them good singer, some of them good performers, some of them good artists. So if you bring some kind of a film shoot, either to your own campus, it may be a music album, it may be a TV serial, it may be ad film, it may be anything, or maybe something happening outside in the city anywhere, and your students are managing that particular show. Earn for them and they will learn also, and I personally feel it would be wonderful for them. So if GIBS focuses on travel and tourism along with MICE tourism and along with technology, because artificial intelligence has to play a very important role. Your augmented reality, virtual reality, your metaverse and all that which has to come, I'm pretty sure it would be a very good future. It would be a very good venture, because as it is the Prime Minister of India, when he's talking about 5 trillion economy, he's also talking about tourism.
Agree.
And in the next budget, you will see tourism is going to get great push.
Yes.
And people after pandemic have started traveling in a very big way. And there's another trend which is coming in a very big way. People want to travel now isolated places where the small family, husband, wife and child or children, they travel together, they go, they experience the life all together. So I personally feel any place, anything can be promoted in the best possible way.
Agree, sir. And I think the way you've described the different types of tourism, I'm sure there's a lot of learning that our viewers would have had with that one question itself.
There are more than 100 segments of tourism, and there is no segment of the economy which is left over. Jo khauche wala golgappe bech raha hai, he is also directly or indirectly linked with tourism. Three-wheeler wala, auto wala, who is taking, he is also directly or indirectly.
Drivers, all these aggregators.
Anybody, ma'am, anybody you got
a kirana shop also selling chips and
souvenirs, my mobile recharging, my mobile accessories, souvenirs. Anything you talk about, it's related directly or indirectly with the tourism.
Agree. So if I could ask you another question linked with tourism, what are the skill sets that you think are required for individuals who want to excel in probably tourism sector? So what specific skill sets do you think they need to have?
Okay, first and the foremost thing, if you ask me, soft skills is very important. Because anybody who is into this profession, you should have good etiquettes, manners, gestures, body language, your personality, your articulation, your communication to connecting with the people. You should be good story travel. You should also know about your own culture. You should also know about your own history. Because if somebody wants to become a tourist guide, if somebody wants to become a tour leader, if somebody wants to become a tour manager, if you're planning a tour package for somebody, you must have a ground knowledge. Now, Professor Singh, who was teaching artificial intelligence here, and this morning also when we were having deliberations with him, artificial intelligence, technology is going to have a very big component, and it's a huge market, ma'am. It's a huge market. You'll be surprised to know I can get all the association leaders, I can get the entire travel and tourism fraternity, hospitality fraternity, airlines fraternity, MICE industry fraternity. They all can come over here on leadership executive programs also.
All right.
Because they want to move to next level. So your research, your innovation, your development, your technology, your academics and your skills. So one is the soft skill, and then of course, along with that, you should have the knowledge about the product and services, whatever you are offering.
And probably some idea about the customer's needs, customer's wants, their changing styles, their changing preferences.
Excuse me. That has also come in a very big way now. You got to understand. Earlier we used to call it customer care, customer happiness. It moves to customer delight. Now the new term which is used in America and other places called amazing the customer. The customer has not even thought of what service is going to deliver to me. You do value addition. And at the same time, because our chamber is working on to that, we are working on services gaps also. So your institute can do a lot of research for the whole country, and you can get a lot of grants from various sources. And at the same time, I would also go one step ahead. In month of January, there's a Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which we brought way back in 2003 in this particular country when Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister. Why not your institution should take a initiative and leap along with the Karnataka government over here? You should have Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, Vibrant Karnataka. And work out a strategy, get the corporate also, get the NRIs also, get the potential investors also. Let everybody meet your students on platform. Might be some of your students will be placed abroad also.
Yeah.
They will travel abroad also.
I think that's a very good idea that you.
They can get an opportunity and they can work over there. And you being specialist in HR, because particularly nowadays most of the hotels, they are looking forward to property management where HR plays very important role. So certain softwares can also be developed. In your innovation in future, you can think of, you can have some in-house development also.
All right. Sure, sir, sure. I think we can speak on those lines maybe sometime later.
Yes.
So I would want to ask you another question on the same lines. What are your thoughts on making India a premium tourist destination? Do you think are the requirements for that?
Government of India has taken a very fine initiative in the last budget. If you remember, Nirmala Sitharaman ji, the Honorable Finance Minister, she made a mention that 50 circuits to be developed and 50 integrated circuits to be developed. You discussed with Karnataka government over here, and I personally feel one of the circuit which is getting developed in your area, in the area of about 100 kilometer, your college should take initiative that we would facilitate integrated development of tourism in this particular region. So, Government of India to develop the infrastructure, then thereafter the technology has to seep in. At the same time, human resources has to be developed. Skilling projects and programs have to be taken care of. And of course, corporate can play a very important role. And I must, in a very humble way, mention that 2,000 additional hotels are coming up in India in the ensuing months.
Oh, that's great.
Can you imagine how much employment would be coming up and all that? And so many different segments are there, and financial sector related once again to tourism. So I personally feel that if your institution focuses on tourism products and services, but I'm not taking tourism alone, please bring a prefix of travel also with that. And when I say travel, it could be any amount of travel which I told you, because Modi ji had initiated 45 days cruise from Varanasi all the way to going to that Guwahati. That is the longest travel and something which has come up in our country. So I personally feel students would enjoy and students would love that. And once in a month, you can have a kind of an event being organized over here, because you are having students from all 28, 29 states, union territories and everything. Why not you should work out a strategy that if 12 months are there, students are having 2 years program. So 24, let's take it, months are there. Let's see the 2 months they have gone on a holidays. 22 months are left over. Give 2 months more relaxation for exams and all. 20 months are left over. Why don't you work out 20 themes? You should have every month, last Saturday, one get together, dance party, music party, cultural display, costume display, traditional folks and everything. Displaying culture, preserving culture, promoting tourism, promoting one particular region. Students would be gaga that our food is being served, our costumes being displayed, and that day you show pictures and everything of the main tourist attractions of that particular region or state.
Yeah, yeah. So since you mentioned about Guwahati, I would want to ask you another question, and something which even our Prime Minister Modi has been talking about, tourism in the northeast part of India. And he's been strongly promoting that we have to develop and we have to, move towards tourism there. So could you share some of your experiences about the challenges associated with it?
Last 4 decades, I'm deeply emotionally associated with the northeast part of India. Born in north, but my soul, I personally feel it belongs to northeast. When you serve in a uniform, and as I mentioned yesterday also, first time when you wear the uniform, you get your first salary, your first rank, you feel very happy about it, and you start loving that particular place. People are wonderful, culture is beautiful, cuisine is beautiful, their dances, costumes are beautiful. 8 beautiful states in northeast part of India, they are amazing. And what Honorable Prime Minister gave a push during the pandemic, Dekho Apna Desh. That campaign was wonderful, where Ministry of Tourism, Government of India was footing your bill for travel, for boarding, lodging, eating and enjoying in any part of, different places in India. I think the time has arrived. We should travel to northeast part of India, and at the same time, I personally feel on the experimental basis, your institution can think of, why don't you bring, with the help of the state governments, 8 to 10 students from each state. Let's have 60, 70, 80 students coming from there, one group. They can promote the entire northeast India in an integrated form, as that particular gesture being shown and blossom in your state. At the same time, northeast cannot be segregated from ASEAN region. Those 10 countries which you have got, because gateway to ASEAN from India is from Manipur, that is from Imphal. The last border is called More. So you come to Myanmar, you come to Laos, you come to Cambodia, you come to Thailand, then you go to Indonesia, you go to Philippines, you go to Brunei, you go to Singapore, and then you go to all the way Vietnam. So those 10 beautiful countries, they are amazing. The features are also quite similar to our wonderful people, those are staying in northeast part of India. Maybe your organization takes a thought onto that. Your teachers, your faculty should go on exchange program to ASEAN. They should go and see what is being taught, what is being, displayed, and what is being given in academics, in skills in that region. At the same time, inviting students to come from there to this part. So something, I think, wonderful can be
done.
generated.
Yeah, can be created for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
So since you've been talking about students and you've been talking about imparting the right skill sets to the student, so I would ask you one last question for the podcast today. That what kind of major reforms do you think we need to bring about in our educational system, so as to make sure that our students are more employable, are more ready for the corporates that are waiting for them? So what kind of specific reforms do you think are needed in our education system to make them more employable?
Ma'am, something very important which I mentioned over there also, I just wish to repeat that. If there are 17, 18 institutions in this particular area, Everybody has to find their niche. Everybody has to find out what is our USP, why somebody should come to us, how do we differ from others, what value additions you are doing. So I personally feel whatever is the government policy with regard to AICT and UGC, okay? If you're having some vocational component, only 40% has to be taken as far as that academic, hardcore curriculums. 60% there is a flexibility towards vocational and skills. You should incorporate corporate sector right from the beginning when the syllabi is being formulated. One is mandatory, whatsoever has to be done as per the norms of UGC and AICT. You do value addition from your side with the help of corporate, what case studies to be brought, what softwares to be brought, what artificial intelligence to be brought, what additional things to be brought. When you will bring them right from the syllabi formulation, including their academic session and interaction with students frequently. With your faculty, they should also interact frequently, at a particular interval, at a particular time with your students. So what would happen is, if there's a group of, let's take it, 40 to 60 students, corporate would be in a position, if I am interacting with students in one semester, 2 semester, 3 semester, I will come to know this boy is good at this girl is good at this girl is good at this. What will happen is, whatever is my company need, I'll pick up those students. You need not to go for any placement or corporate being invited, formal structure to be followed and all. Your students will get better package. They will be picked up by right companies. They will work for a long duration, and attrition rate would also be less in the companies. Companies won't cry, हमारे पास join किया था 4 महीने के बाद छोड़ दिया. They will also feel very happy. So I think the corporate has to be on board right from the beginning. Instead of coming at the fag end of mine, they would take them for internship also.
Agree.
And as I made a mention in a very humble way, invite NRIs also in January. Maybe some of the students will be picked up by non-resident Indians also.
Correct.
They're also running businesses abroad. These children can be taken there as well.
Correct. So I think that was quite an insightful session that we had with you. Quite a lot of insights that you shared with us. So thank you so much, Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma, for sharing such detailed insights with us in today's IRE Talks podcast. So thank you so much for agreeing to be our guest for today.
Thank you, Palvi ma'am. And let me once again put it on to the records that Ritesh Goel is very dynamic, and your team is very dynamic and dedicated. I wish you all wonderful days ahead. Become the leader. Offer different kind of a management education. You should excel. You should be outstanding and bring in the concept which we brought in 1994 of the finishing school in a practical way. If you see it on the AICT website, you will be able to see right over there on the home page, drop down menu, under the education vertical, there is a finishing school. I think the better days and beautiful days are ahead, and your institute is really going to do well. I wish you all the best, and my best wishes and blessings.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
So I hope with this, our learners and our viewers had a very engaging session today. So I'll hope to meet you all very soon again with our next IRE Talks podcast powered by GIBS Business School. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel @GIBS Business School, @GIBS IRE Talks podcast. Please do follow us on all our social media handles so that you are updated with all the news and all the updates regularly. This is your host, Dr. Pallavi Vyas, signing off for today so that we can meet very soon in another channel in the GIBS IRE Talks podcast, powered by GIBS Business School, where innovation meets inspiration.